Welcome back, everyone. In today's explainer, we are cracking open a deeply chilling paranormal case file. We're going to get right to the bottom of a haunted mansion story that is honestly nothing short of a hair-raising mystery. So let's just dive right into the terror, shall we? Picture this for a second. It's the dead of night, the house is pitch black, and Indrani hears a horrifying, completely inhuman voice coming from right outside her locked bedroom door. It says, "Give me fish, or else it won't be good." Now, this wasn't just some empty threat to try and scare her, it was literally the start of a nightmare that would shake this entire family to its absolute core. To truly wrap our heads around this haunting, we have to look at how incredibly fast the terror escalated. Things just go totally off the rails. Night one kicks off with a possession. Mendakani finds her daughter, Sugandha, in the kitchen, frantically eating raw fish, with her face and clothes just covered in blood. By night two, a violent poltergeist essentially takes over the house. We're talking doors slamming on their own, disembodied voices echoing from underneath the beds, and windows literally shattering wide open. The sheer violence of it is so intense that it forces the terrified family to bring in an exorcist by day three. Okay, so when the family wakes up on that third morning, they step outside and find actual dismembered animal parts scattered all over the property. So we have to ask the core question here to diagnose this specific threat. What kind of unseen entity leaves behind chunks of animal flesh and possesses a human body just to demand raw fish? Well, this is where Bhuvan, the mansion's old servant, steps in, and he diagnosed the threat perfectly. He knew right away this wasn't your standard ghost, it was a Micho Bhoot. According to regional folklore, a Micho Bhoot is a specific, wildly ferocious spirit that is driven by an absolute insatiable hunger for raw fish. And because of that, this entity operates on its own unique, terrifying set of magical rules. Bhuvan's intel makes it crystal clear exactly why he was in full panic mode. If we look at the entity's profile, it primarily haunts the local riverbank. In fact, the local villagers are so terrified of it that they completely avoid the mansion altogether. But you know what the absolute darkest detail is? Once you actually feed a Micho Bhoot, its hunger becomes infinite. It just spirals, and it will eventually destroy the entire family. That is exactly why Bhuvan didn't waste a single second before running out to find a tantric, a local holy man, to help them. So, the tantric arrives at the mansion on day 3. And he immediately gets to work. He starts his ritual, sits Sugandha down, and passes an iron nail over her head 7 times. Now, in this region, this is considered a highly potent test. It's specifically meant to draw out evil forces. But, shockingly, Sugandha has absolutely no reaction to it whatsoever. Right, so here is the real mystery. Why in the world did the spirit show zero reaction to the exorcism? Why did Sugandha, who, remember, was eating blood-soaked raw fish on night 1, remain completely unfazed by a sacred, powerful iron nail? This is where our case file takes a massive, totally unexpected twist. The answer actually lies in comparing the two sisters. While Sugandha is sitting there remaining completely calm against the iron nail, her sister Indrani suddenly starts deteriorating right in front of them. She develops this unnatural thirst, her eyes start glowing a terrifying red, and get this, when the men try to hold her down, she throws them across the room like she suddenly possesses the strength of 10 men. It's completely wild. When you logically break down the events side by side, the ghost's tactical deception becomes incredibly clear. I mean, it was basically playing them. The family naturally assumed Sugandha left those animal parts outside. But the dark reality? Indrani was the one who ate them. The door banging on night 2, they all thought Sugandha was trying to escape her room, but Indrani was the one actually causing the terror out in the halls. And Sugandha's locked door? It wasn't locked to keep her in, it was locked to protect the ghost's secret. Because actually, Indrani had opened her door on night 1, which allowed the Micho Bhoot to jump hosts. To prove this host transfer had actually happened, the tantric utilized a totally different method. He chanted specific mantras, placed a clove on Indrani's tongue, and literally forced her mouth shut. This test was so powerful that Indrani immediately began vomiting up the raw animal parts she had been secretly consuming in the dead of night. 24. Now, that isn't just a random number. It was a ticking clock. If the tantric hadn't realized that the Micho Bhoot abandoned Sugandha to possess Indrani, Sugandha would have been dead within 24 hours. The ghost had already drained her energy and was now actively destroying Indrani from the inside out. Put yourself in their shoes for just a second. How do you trap a ferocious entity that possesses the strength of 10 grown men? I mean, this is a ghost that is openly threatening to drink the exorcist's blood. Extracting this thing wasn't going to be some standard run-of-the-mill ritual. It required a highly tactical, incredibly high-stakes operation. And here is exactly how that operation went down: the Riverbank Extraction Protocol. First, the exorcist secured the house by planting 4 blessed bamboos, essentially turning the place into an absolute fortress. Second, Indrani was tightly bound to a chair outside. Third, they laid out fresh fish as bait leading toward the river, because, as we know, a mecha boot can never resist the scent of fish. Finally, the exact moment the spirit left Indrani's body to take the bait, the tantric hurled a flaming coconut right at it, burning the entity to ashes on the spot. Just an unbelievable sequence of events. And that, my friends, is how this terrifying case closes. Indrani was completely freed from the spirit. But honestly, the trauma shook the family so deeply that Tapan transferred his job that very same month. They packed up their lives and left the city forever. As for the massive mansion itself, it was left completely empty, eerie, and abandoned once again. So, the family made it out alive, and the haunted house stands completely empty today. But I want to leave you with this final thought. Is that riverbank truly safe? Or is there another Micho boot out there in the dark, endlessly searching for its next meal of raw fish? Keep questioning the unknown, everyone, and we'll see you in the next explainer.